allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Andrew, please.
Chapman.
Here.
Drake.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Hines.
Here.
Patton.
Here.
Ring.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Number 4, I want to add 2 agenda items before we approve the agenda for tonight, July 14th, 2021. Turn to page number 12, action item. Let's add C, approve new village building general contractor.
That's 13A.
Oh, you've already, what, that's under old business. I was gonna put it under
Oh,
action
okay.
item so we
So
can,
move it up
we
there.
can move it up to,
Yeah.
vote on it.
Okay.
And
So
then,
move
as
13A
Andrew
to
said, go to 13A. Cross off general contractor for new building. Go back up to number 12 and add a D. Zoom village meetings.
Yay.
That's all I have to add. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for July? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, approval of the meeting minutes of June 9th, 2021.
I have maybe a possible amendment on the second page under the new business. Motion by Chapman and supported by Ring to approve the clerk to fill out application of interest and submit that application to the county. Do we want to indicate that that is for the Howard Street tax sale property?
Sure. All right, we can adjust.
I have an item on the first page, public comment. Comment will talk about noxious weeds and unlawful expenditures. It probably should say alleged unlawful expenditures because it hasn't been proven.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 9th minutes with the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment, limit to 3 minutes, please.
Have a
You have a lady here.
commenter?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Marie. My glasses are right at the edge.
It's okay. I came regarding the park I live next door to, Maureen Stenback. I live at 7861 Bradford, directly across the road from Thurston Park. And I used to live there all summer long and so on and so forth. But I want to know why there's been an old Birmingham school bus parked there for months. It's an eyesore. I'm tired of looking at it. I don't know why it's there, and I don't even know if it's legal for it to be there. Every day I have to see that thing. People come to our house and what is that thing doing over there? I don't know what it's about. But it sure would be nice to get rid of it, have it move somewhere else. And the other thing is, because I live there and I live next to it, I've made a lot of friends over the years who come to the park, and they're not happy about a few things that are not happening this year. So I'm being their advocate. Nobody's regularly mowing the campsites. In recent years, Kathy, Lyle, and Deb Hop kept those spots mowed. The township mowed the hill. The campers closest to me from Grosse Ile actually brought up their own little battery-powered mower this year and have even mowed other spots before other campers move in, which is not, it's nice of them to do it, but Also, something else, another friend said to us is this year the hoses that were previously available for the campers on the lower level have been removed. And one of the campers, he doesn't want to travel with the water and he parked his unit and found out the hoses weren't there, so he had to go out and buy a hose that would reach the tap or the faucet. And the other one I hear a lot too is that the camp manager is not available on a regular basis. That's it. But I'm most concerned about that ugly bus sitting there from Birmingham. That's it.
All right, thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? All right, we'll close public comment. Reports, 7A, police report, Scott Garrett.
Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at the report, pretty quick moment, or actually it's getting a little bit lower and slower just because, we're limited on staff. One of the other things I put in your package is a 10, 12-year forecast or an overview of what we've done for the last 10 years. You'll see that certain years we increased in claim orders, certain years we decreased based on staffing. You'll see last year we went down 9%, which I think is a good thing, but that's reflects the fact that we were without a part-time officer for 4 months out of the whole year. So I don't know why you see that. And in the previous years where there's decreases, there were, part-time people were not here or the position wasn't filled. One of the things I put on here is when I started back in 2008, we had a full-time chief. We had 2 part-time officers working 20 hours a week. So we had 80 hours a week of police work. Now we are down to 40. So our department hours have been cut in half over the last 10, 12 years. So, and if you were to add it up over the 12-year period, we are significantly increased in complaints versus where we were 10, 12 years ago. So I gave you that to kind of look at and think about. If anybody has any questions, I can explain it further, I guess. I do have a guest here with me, and I'll let him explain who he is because we've had some conversations. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Bob Cook, and I'm supervisor over at Torchlight Township.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Bob Cook,
Thanks, Bob.
C-O-O-K. And part of what we're trying to figure out over there is we do not have any enforcement for our ordinances. So we've been trying to pursue an ordinance enforcement officer. And we've got an ad out there at $30 an hour, and we've had 0 applicants. Second part of it is, yeah, exactly.
It has nothing.
Oh, okay. I swallow hard when you figure you get 0 applicants at $30 an hour today. So one of the things we're trying to figure out is with the sheriff running understaffed, do we take a step up and look at a officer of some level to enforce both. We've got some areas that have speeding problems. We have the day park over there that is just a nightmare for me in trying to ensure that we keep some civil order. I can't get people to man the day park, so enforcing stuff is left up. In fact, 2 of your high school kids were over there helping, and it's just a real challenge. So I've laid out for the township that we need to evaluate another alternative. And Bill Peterson, who works for me as my deputy, talked to Scott to find out what you guys do over here. And so the question is there a way that there might be a cooperative way between the 2 of us to get an additional force for you guys as well as for us, and we figure out some sharing arrangement to do that. So the idea, I'm just here to present the idea. If you're interested, then I would like to figure out how we continue the conversation and lay it out. If you're not interested, that's fine. As I keep telling people, it's a yes or no. If it's a yes, then we have more discussions. If it's no, I go back and try to figure out another answer for it. So I put that on the table. I'll let you guys think about it, and I'll hang around for a while and see how you guys do. Thank you.
A little bit of follow-up. We've had the conversation last month, and Bob just wanted to come and chat with you guys a little bit today. When we had a part-time officer, it would have been really feasible, but you'd expressed to him that now that we don't have a part-time officer, trying to find a part-time officer to kind of set over there would be a little difficult. One thing Bob asked me to do is find out some like hourly rates, and Andrew came forward with that and helped us out. And I gave that to Bob as far as if we had a part-time officer, or if we could find a part-time officer, what would be an hourly rate to send him over there to help? And if I were to go over there, there'd be a different rate. And then obviously if we're using our equipment, like our vehicles, there'd be like a mileage rate. So I gave those to Bob. And as we kind of look forward and kind of talk about this some more, obviously we're not gonna make this into the thing, but, you know, that will kind of help him out with where they need to be and kind of where we need to be and stuff like that. But, you know, honestly, it's gonna be kind of hard to find a part-time officer. I just, you know, like, work, you know, we had a pretty good, we shared an officer with Ellsworth, but, you know, now we don't have that anymore, so. Any questions? I kind of went through that a little fast, I know, but.
Okay, I do have a question in regard to one of your earlier comments on this. Stats, you said that it reflected the staffing levels.
Yeah.
It's down in the last 10 years or so.
Well, historically, I mean, Linda had a comment the other day, but I mean, I got to point around, but we typically hire people for the part-time position because it's kind of an entry level position. People coming out of college or people are retired or something like that. So it's kind of attractive in the fact that you don't have to work full time. Things have kind of changed lately because, you know, 10, 15 years ago, one police officer could apply along with 100 other people for one or two positions. Not anymore. I mean, Bob expressed his concern over trying to hire a person for $30 an hour and getting no application. The sheriff's department, and again, not to talk ill of them or throw them on the bus, but they can't fill 6 positions right now that pay full-time wages, full-time benefits, and all those things. It's just a different time. So what happens is historically in the last 12 years, we've always hired people and they've moved down to greener pasture. We get them trained as far as, you know, radar, PDT, all these different certifications that they need. And then a sheriff's department has an opening and they're gone because they can make better money, better benefits, more hours, they go, you know, towards the retirement, all those things. So we historically lose people. So over the last 12 years, we've had problems with people coming and going. So we've had some turnover, but that's typical of a smaller department that doesn't offer. We don't offer any benefits. We, you know, it's very minimal pay compared to what other people are paying. So, you know, unless you can get somebody that's truly going to stay for the long haul, it doesn't happen too much. Typically, we keep an officer for about a year and a half at the most. So if you look back in those years, I mean, I could show you probably, you know,
The correlation.
exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
2-3 months here, 4 months here, whatever. Like I said, last year, Lacey was gone for 4 months, so we only had both of us working for 8 months. So that's kind of why, you know, obviously if somebody's not working, they're not handling complaints, they're not going out and being, you know, proactive and stuff like that, so.
Okay,
And so then when somebody's not working, like on those months that Lacey wasn't working, were complaints handled then by other agencies, like the sheriff's department or the
Sure,
state
and
police?
again, that's the difference between the reactive and the proactive. So the sheriff's department's always gonna cover, and they've done a good job at that, but, you know, they're not gonna be out patrolling and stopping spears and doing a lot of the proactive stuff. They're actually just gonna come here when they handle a complaint, then they take off and go somewhere else. Like right now, we've had this conversation before, but right now, if I pull up on my MCT screen, I can show you probably there's only 2 officers working for the whole county. So if they're in Mansalona, guess what? They're not here. If they're here, they're not in Elk Rapids, and it's, you know, they've got 490 square miles to cover. So, you know, even at your best case scenario, how do you put 2 officers in 400 square miles to cover effectively? They basically just go from complaint to complaint to complaint. So, and there's quite a bit of difference if I showed you statistic wise what the difference is between proactive policing and reactive policing. So, and if you don't have time to patrol and you're just going from complaints, you know, the number of your complaints truly do go down, even though you're busy and you're trying to, you know, people love things. So.
okay, thank you.
So do you think it's gonna be impossible then to hire a part-time officer?
Yes,
Is what I'm hearing. It's gonna be impossible, right?
yes and no. If, best case scenario, if we had a part-time officer, and the best thing, and then, I don't know if you guys truly understand this, when I was working 5 days a week, our part-time officer covered the other 2 days, so we had somebody here every single day. We move our schedules around to cover like a special event or certain times of the day, and it worked out really good that we had somebody here every single day. Now that we don't, we have 2 days that are not covered because, you know, I'm only here 5 days a week. If we had those 2 extra days and we could go combined with Torch Lake Township, that becomes more attractive to somebody. I mean, somebody just doesn't, I mean, I don't know too many people that have the certification that we have to have that can just sit around and work for 8 hours here, 16 hours here, on call here.
I mean, but if you're saying the sheriff's department has 6 full-time positions open, and we're gonna try to fill basically a no benefit, is that what I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Cook probably knows what more he has in mind, but I'm assuming it would be a no benefit position. Again, if they can't fill a full benefit position, how hard is it gonna be for us to fill a no benefit position?
I see where you're coming from. The attractive part we had, so when Lacey was here, she has a husband that worked for the Foundry, had benefits, she didn't need those benefits. She liked the flexibility about, doing homeschooling, stuff like that. So it was very attractive to her to do the 16 hours. So that part is attractive in the fact that, if I'm not working today as a police officer and I leave, tomorrow my certification starts to expire. I have to be currently working as a police officer to keep my certification. After 2 years, my certification is gone, and I have to go back to get it. So there are people out there that want to work as a part-time gig to keep their certification because it's very expensive and it's very hard to go back and do all the physicals part, all the book work and stuff like that. And it costs, to go back to get recertified is probably about another $7,000 that you have to pay to go back. So a lot of people who are retired or changing gears and stuff like that, they want to keep that certification. So that's the attractive part. But then you only get either people coming right out of academy or you get people that are retired. And it's kind of hard to fill positions with those. And usually the younger people are going to greener pasture because they have to look for the next 30 years as far as how do you put your eggs in the right nest.
So what do you think the chances are? Give me a percentage. How quick, if you said I want a part-time officer, I'm gonna, don't hold me, I'm not holding anything back.
That's fine.
Torch Lake Township wants them for 2 days. And we want them for 2 days. That's 4 days. If someone's retired, they probably don't want to work for 4 days because that's why they retired. And so we're back to a young person that isn't going to stay. How hard is it going to be to get one, Scott?
If I had 4 days, it'd be a lot better than 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
And that's kind of, I think, when I talked to Bob.
But why wouldn't they go to Antrim County and get 5 days? Why are they going to come to Central Lake and Torch Lake and get?
Because the other part of the flexibility part is if you go to work for the sheriff's department, again, no disrespect to them, you're working nights and weekends and holidays and you get a schedule. When you come here, we have a lot of flexibility saying, okay, and we've had people in the past that did lawn care. I mean, I had a kid that worked for me lawn care, did lawn care in the daytime, worked here at the nighttime. That worked great because then we had some nighttime coverage and it was extremely flexible. And I'm sure Torch Lake would be flexible, we're flexible, because that's the other advantage of a part-time position, so. But yeah, it just depends on who you're looking for and.
How many days do you think you want somebody in Torch Lake Township?
Right now, what we're trying to figure out is it a viable option for you folks, to be honest? Because with the finance numbers now, I can go back and say, all right, we had budgeted $15,000 for an ordinance enforcement officer working $500. So that would be my base case is, hey, my budget, even today with half the year gone practically, right? I can cover quite a bit of time with that $15,000. Now, the question becomes with both sides, we both have our budgets coming up for the following year, what do you get? My feeling is that in our township, I believe I can sell to the township people that this is the right step for us to do. Now, I don't think we can afford the full-time. I don't think we have that capability, but clearly a part-time person is much more viable than nothing. And I think I can sell whatever we need to do to get there. And that's why you guys, I'm really looking to you to say, are you interested or not? You can arm wrestle over that stuff. Once you do that, then that frees me to start figuring out what can I do. But until that time, I'm kind of spinning my wheels, if you know what I mean. So that's why it's critical as you listen to Scott. If it's something you're interested in for your community, then we're willing to talk to you about tagging along with you and can we make it work for both of us? For me, I've got the day part. So weekends are the nightmare for me. So for us, I'd be signing up for weekends right away.
Well, a lot of that, I'm gonna tell you right now, is gonna be predicated on our millage coming up. So I don't think right now we're in a position to speak budgetarily how we could even do this.
That's fine.
So, Andrew, when is that gonna be on the,
November.
so November ballot? So after November, we'll have a lot clearer picture.
No, we're
as
too late
to
for August.
Where we're at financially with that.
Well,
Can we
why
at
couldn't
least-
we, why couldn't we do something now and then change that depending on our budget constraints next year if the millage doesn't go?
But I'd rather wait to see what the big picture is gonna be before we start even figuring things out.
I think it'd be, in my mind, if we got an officer to work part-time that they paid for, and they went out to Torch Lake Township, we got from now until November to figure out if we can do it next year and what the cost will be, because we won't be on a trial program for a whole year, we'll be on a trial program for 6 months.
So I guess I'm hearing Mr. Cook wrong. We don't have any money currently for a deputy. Let's put that out right.
They do, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. They do, but we do not.
Well, we hire a deputy and use our equipment. They're gonna
Contract
pay us
now.
equipment, they're gonna pay us for equipment use. You're gonna have to, we're not gonna give you a car for free. So
Absolutely.
they're gonna pay for
All right.
equipment use, we use some of the equipment use, because we have 2 cars and one of them's, I mean, it's better when they're both moving a little bit anyway. Equipment sitting is a bad deal.
I switch them out.
Well, I know you do, Scott, but I mean, I know you do, I've noticed that. But I think that if we could get somebody and he's sitting right here and I'll tell him, if we can get him to pay
Yeah,
for a part-time officer, I'm for it. If he pays for it, or
Yeah,
for the
I-
township, you know.
I have no problem with that. I just want to make sure everybody is
But-
keenly
and then we
aware
can-
of our
we can
budgetary
put a-
situation
we can put a,
for the 2021 year.
We can put a cap on it and say, we'll relook at this at the meeting after the millage. After the millage. And move forward. I mean, it can't happen. It's not gonna happen now, but maybe he could get somebody there after our August meeting. Maybe Scott can find a part-time person. Maybe Scott goes out there a little bit. I know you probably don't want to, but maybe we send Scott out there a little bit and recoup some of our law enforcement budget through Torch Lake Township.
Again, the whole idea here would be, we don't have the capability to have somebody that carries the same image, if you will, that Scott does. But with somebody working for Scott, making sure that the jurisdictional things work, that works for us, and we can supply a certain period of time. As I say, I've got money to work with out of my ordinance enforcement. If you guys come back in November, let's face it, for me, it's just like you guys. The biggest time is between May and September. And that's the biggest time for us. After that, it's going to be speeding and neighborhood patrols and checking, because about 60% of our people leave in October. So there's a lot of vacant property sitting around. And if the sheriff is not going to be able to respond, or the state police, we need somebody we can call that's going to be there in a relatively short period of time. And that's what I'm going to present it to the township. So like I say, it's up to you guys. If you're interested, then we can start talking, and if you don't want to pay for anything between now and November, then we can work out the schedule, what the pricing is, and figure out if it makes sense.
I'd like to talk about it and move forward right now, and maybe we can, I mean, it can't hurt our budget. It can help our budget, but it can't hurt our budget. So if we have a meeting and we could get everything and propose it, and then a motion in August, he could have somebody from August through September, and if he doesn't want anybody in October, he can back out, we can back out, make it an at-will contract.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
But I think it's something we should talk about. I think it's negligent not to talk about it.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm bringing this back up. I've already teed it up once in my board. I'm gonna tee it up again for board discussion. And I'm gonna lay out just basically what you've said is, there's a time frame at will, and if we can find something, then I can put it on the board in August, make it a pass motion by the board. And that would be my time.
When do you guys meet?
We meet the third Tuesday of the month. So we are after you guys.
Yeah.
So once you click,
Who would
Then I'll
meet, I mean, if we chose to do this, who would meet with them to work out? We need Scott, Bill, Is there anybody else?
Mike
who-
Ring,
But I would say law enforcement. committee.
yeah, law enforcement.
All right.
Michelle, you're
Oh, I'm on law enforcement.
There you go.
So that.
Yeah, Brian, Bill, and Michelle. There you go.
Perfect, I didn't volunteer.
We'll have, I don't know if you guys know Sharon Schultz, our treasurer, so I'll have Sharon, I'll have Bill Peterson and myself. And you'll be the representatives from the board, that's who
You
I'll.
you guys can set up a meeting then.
That's
Thanks,
fine.
Ralph.
Good job,
You're
Ralph.
welcome.
So we discussed this last month that we was gonna pursue
Right.
Mhm.
to a part of the law,
Right.
so.
So we'll just put that as an action item next month to vote on to approve. What's the language gonna, well, I'll let you guys. figure it
Shared law enforcement sorts of.
out. Shared, okay.
But there has to be some type of formal agreement to give us. some-
Yeah.
We'll have 2 lawyers, that'll take 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that all you figure, really?
Yeah, it only took us, we were negotiating with Norwood for EMS, and that was 6 months. So,
Well, let's not let that happen.
no. Well, great, then you know what I'm gonna do, I'll know what you guys are doing, and we'll just stay in touch. I'll use Scott as my go-to person until you tell me.
Absolutely,
All
thank
right.
you.
We're good.
Thanks, Bob, we'll see you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm all set, unless you have any other questions.
That's it?
Move on.
DPW, Sam Mullins.
You guys all should have a, thank you, sorry. You guys all should have a copy of my DPW report. I don't have a copy of it. Here, Andrew's got a copy for me. Is there anything on there that you have questions about? The new sweepers in, works wonderful.
Good.
Consumer confidence report's been forwarded to, that's what CCR stands for, to Eagle and the Health Department. Been working with Gordy Frazier on the new sewer fields, the lift stations, replacements of them, all that stuff. Cleaning day park bathrooms, we're no longer doing that. We rented a porta potty because of all the damage we're getting in the day park. So we got the doors locked up, we got a porta potty, it will be cleaned every Thursday of every week until we call and tell them to come get it. The porta potty is ADA accessible.
How much does that cost?
$250 every month,
Okay.
and that
We'll take-
includes the cleaning.
We're gonna take it out of pavilion rental.
Sam, I had a complaint today about the new pavilion bathrooms. Who's responsible for?
Last I was told, DDA collects rent from the pavilion. DDA is responsible for cleaning them. That's what I was told.
No, it's not right.
Mr. Tyler?
Chamber?
Well, as far as collecting rent, we're gonna steer it towards here, right? We haven't collected rent other than
Okay,
farmer's market, we're not charging them, we're asking them to put.
all right, so we'll have to work that one out since it's our
The
first.
the pavilion rentals are going into the DDA fund.
Okay,
And that's
As far as the bathrooms, who's?
I was told the chamber
I
was
was-
the DDA.
that's what I was.
That's what I was
thought that-
directed
that's what it was.
to be
I've
told.
been letting people in who
Yeah.
are using it,
Uh-huh,
but I know we have multiple keys. I think, Sam, you have a key, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I have a key.
I have a key.
Yep.
And I let people in and then clean the bathrooms when they're done, but only when it's something that I'm part of.
sure.
So, like the church was there and I don't know who followed up after them when they had their service, who cleaned it or.
We'll look into it.
I think, since it came up right now about the bathrooms, I really think they need to be open all the time, and we've just gotta be responsible and say we're gonna clean them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
That's all they'll be doing.
Huh?
They get,
How long does it take to clean a bathroom?
we'll go back to this again. It's not cleaning the bathroom, it's not wiping down a toilet and a urinal. What is occurring in there is not under the guise of cleaning a bathroom. Unfortunately, it's gone way beyond that.
The trouble we've had, Ralph, was just like the day park bathrooms. We leave them unlocked, they get trashed. And I mean,
He had to clean it.
I've been there. You can't leave the things open all the time. We got $200,000 into a pavilion, I'm telling you, they'll be trashed within 2 weeks.
What about leaving them open? Well, we got two issues here.
Well, let's separate the issues out.
Okay, one.
Okay, one, Thurston Park bathrooms, I am adamant they will remain locked. I go down there, I see the damage, the toilets, they break the toilets, they break the urinals, anything they can stuff into a toilet, they can. And those, the pipes are so old, they weren't designed for, you know, a new millennium vandalism.
Feces all over the walls.
Yeah, it's,
I've been down to the bathrooms where it takes a day for 2 guys to clean. It's that bad. Where they take feces and toilet paper and throw it on the wall and the ceiling. And who's gotta clean it up? Me and my guys.
Right, how
That's
do other
reality.
people, what do other towns do?
Del Aire's struggling with it too.
Yes,
Riccardi Park,
There's a, they opened the public bathrooms over by the old tree, they, not anymore. The vandalism was terrible and.
Where's that at,
And
Billy?
they were,
He says Mansalona.
Most of your traffic, most of our traffic in town is daytime. Am I thinking right? I mean, I'm just thinking of the businesses.
No. 3 years ago, I got the guy's picture on my phone, 8:00 in the morning. We're this close to catching them.
Was it an adult foster care person?
No, it was not.
Okay.
We had the cameras on them and gone.
I was gonna ask about cameras, because obviously for my facility, I've got the motion sensor where it'll capture the image when there's motion. And the system for me for 16 cameras
The
was,
problem is we got kids coming in there all day long and you can't question a 12-year-old kid with a roll of toilet paper in his hand. You know what I mean? Scott can line them up with a light.
Well, the problem is, even in the past where we've had cameras operating on the exterior door, you narrow it down to 3 people, you interview all 3 people, and then I get called everything but a white person because I accused somebody of trash in the bathroom. I said, no, I gave the same message to 3 people. And so even from an enforcement perspective, it is a nightmare because, how dare you accuse one of 3 people to, when the camera shows only 3 people went in that bathroom. So, I mean, it's, even cameras are not.
I just hate the fact that we've got a $300,000 bathroom downtown that isn't open.
I think Brian and Ralph's now talking about the new pavilion.
So now we can move on to the new
So
pavilion.
now,
We all agree
we
Thurston
discussed
Park's
the
gonna
old
remain locked.
pavilion, now you got the new one.
Well, you guys already made that was a decision that's been made. You know.
Yeah, we talked about that a long time ago. So now the new
And
pavilion,
the new pavilion doesn't have any cameras.
so.
But as far as who's responsible for it, I mean, I don't mind opening it up if I know somebody's gonna be there. I can close it as well, or April,
I don't mind.
or, as long as we're,
Well, if we have an event,
Yeah.
somebody unlocks them anyway.
Right.
Farmer's market.
right,
But somebody's gotta clean them after they're used.
And who's gonna unlock them and lock them up during the day? That becomes the other sticky wicket. At 8 AM, they unlock them, and then I don't think we're gonna get nearly the vandalism we will downtown as we would at the park.
No, I think what, I get 15 people a day asking if we've got public bathrooms. And my facility, my store is not set up
No,
for
nor
that.
should have to be.
Right, but people need a place where they can go to the bathroom. And so I think if it's at all feasible, the pavilion bathroom should be
New
available.
pavilion bathroom.
New pavilion the village center of town pavilion bathroom.
I
Should
still
be-
say it would be cheaper.
Should be open during the day so people can access them. And that part of the cost and part of our responsibility as a municipality is to provide that amenity and also to clean it. That's part of the world, Go ahead, Bill, I'm done talking.
I think like with the special events, we get the porta potties put out there and we hire a service to change them. If we bought our own porta potties and put them in a convenient place downtown and hire a service to come through however often is necessary, they can only do so much damage to the porta potty.
And they don't want to be in there
And
either.
they don't want to hang around in there like they do in these nice bathrooms. And we can save those for the events.
Right. Good idea.
We'd have an investment in the porta potties, but in whoever serviced them, but not any more than we have paying Sam and his guys to clean them.
Now, you said that porta potty down at the park will be cleaned every Thursday. The company will come in.
Yep,
And
they
pump
come in,
it.
pump it, clean it, sanitize it,
Yep.
paper,
It's,
so you don't have to do nothing to it. That's what he told me.
Two something.
I think
$250 a month, I think.
And that's because,
Where are you gonna put one downtown, right in our little park there?
well, they're always asking her for a bathroom, put it right in between there.
In between, in our little park, Sages Park or whatever they call that.
I'd like to know how Tex handles it. Every time I go to that park and use Ellsworth,
Oh,
down by the DNR lawn site.
yeah.
They built that nice pavilion, those bathrooms are open every day.
They
And
set those up really good. They were really smart and they can run a power washer in there and they go, if
Yeah.
there is an issue.
I'm working with that.
And, you know, I'm just saying, those are always clean, you can count on them being open. And, you know, as a guy that works out on the road, you know, it'd be nice to have a bathroom. I know I gotta make it back to the shop at least. And that's a long way from one end of town to the other if you gotta go.
But if you had to go, would you mind using a porta potty?
I wouldn't, but I used to, but I know there are people that don't like to. They like the warm water, they like to wash their hands, and, you know.
Well, we got so we have the porta potty at Thurston Park. So now, if we were to unlock during the day, one of the bathrooms uptown, since you're not cleaning those other two bathrooms, would you have time to clean one?
Rob, I got time to, I've always said, you guys pay our wages. We do what you direct us to do. But keep in mind, if we're cleaning bathrooms, I'm not out digging up that lead service line. It's under M88. I gotta send my guys up to clean the bathroom instead. You guys gotta decide what your priorities are and direct me to use my people the proper way. It's that simple.
So now
That's the truth.
we have to, is there a way we can keep one of those bathrooms unlocked during the day?
At the new pavilion.
Yeah, thank you, the new pavilion.
Who's gonna be responsible for opening and closing?
That's what I'm saying, opening and closing.
Sam,
I start at 5 in the morning.
right, at 5 in the morning, he can open it up.
Yeah.
But he's leaving.
I leave at 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's
So
my,
who's gonna close?
Who's the last guy on?
2 o'clock's the last guy.
Everybody's done it
Yep.
too.
So you're not getting them opened enough to talk about. Other than over your July month, that's the only time you got people in town. After that, your July month, you don't have anybody really out walking until 9, 10 a.m. So they're only gonna be open 2, 3, 4 hours at the most.
Well, if
If we
have,
open and close.
right,
Well, this situation will be alleviated once we get the new building and we have the
right,
public accessible
right,
bathroom in the vestibule of the new building. And I
supervised,
don't think kids
Yeah.
with skateboards are gonna be hanging around the new
Nope.
building.
no. So I know that Amy Drake had expressed a willingness, with the old pavilion bathrooms to be responsible to open them up in the morning, to check on them at noon and to lock them up at night, as a volunteer. But since that is no longer needed because of the porta potty that's been added there, I wonder if Amy would be willing to unlock the new pavilion,
Have Sam unlock it.
have Sam unlock it in the morning, and then she can lock it at night.
I'll ask her.
I'll ask her
You
too.
look into it?
Yeah.
We'll-
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
And then how often are we having Sam clean or have Sam's guy clean them?
We'll check them. We usually clean them on Monday and Friday. That's reality. As we get the garbage, we check the bathrooms. If they need cleaning, we clean. When we pick garbage up Mondays and Fridays.
I think they need to be cleaned Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
New
When the guys
pavilion,
walk in, if they need cleaning, they get cleaned. If they don't, that's life.
Rob, I just texted you.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just the thought came to my brain because we have technology, which is crazy these days. They have cameras and fingerprints, like a lock that would have a fingerprint. So anybody could access using their fingerprint, captures a picture of them. And if there was like somebody that were to check 8, noon, and 5, and then the doors are locked at 8 o'clock at night, they're open again at 8 o'clock in the morning, some kind of maybe smart lock device might help capture that with just a little bit of monitoring.
Well, the post office used to do that. They had a, like 7 to 7, and that door locked automatically.
Yeah,
It doesn't now because it's broke.
yeah.
We can look into that too.
Any more questions on my report?
All right, well, thank you, Sam.
I just had,
Yes, sir.
I had quite a bit of complaints over the 4th of July about Thurston Park not being mowed.
That's
Just so you know.
Thurston Park,
Yeah, the one.
not the day park, because the day park has been mowed.
Well,
The campground or the playground?
where the playground and the swimming hole.
I don't know who made it, but the playground got mowed, because I personally mowed it on the 2nd of July,
Okay,
because the guys were busy doing other things.
okay, I
So
just
just let you
say,
know, yep,
you know, just.
thank you.
Yep.
For bringing it.
Ma'am, what's going on with the rain garden? It could be that I've driven by there and it looks, kind of unkempt. And I'm wondering if people may be looking at that and thinking that that is the unmowed part.
Talk to Heidi Schaefer about that one, that was her deal.
A sign that says it's a rain garden would be
All
cool.
right, moving on, campground. Andy, got anything to add there?
No report.
All right, let's see, Matt Maybrod here from the DDA and the Chamber.
All right, we'll do it. Well, we just came to update everyone on the 4th of July events. I think we had a super good year.
It was great.
Especially considering we were on the tail of the pandemic, so everything was kind of up in the air this spring. We didn't know if we were gonna be able to move forward. Cases started to rise in May, so we kind of called everything off for a little while. Then we put them back on again. It was kind of a back and forth yo-yo for a little while. But the pavilion was amazing. We had our big fireworks fundraiser there, the annual dinner auction. We raised quite a bit of money for fireworks at the dinner auction. Over $8,000 went to fireworks that night. The parade entries were down quite a bit this year. 2019, we had 77 entries. This year, we only had 41. So that's something that maybe we could work on a little bit, but I think people were in the same boat. They didn't really know if the parade was gonna happen, so they didn't build floats and they didn't, they just didn't pull things together. The Lions had their annual chicken dinner down in the park. They sold 350 chicken dinners in 1 hour. They sold out, so they were very successful. The Chamber and the DDA brought back the annual beer tent. This year we had it at the Chamber Cabin. It was successful. We made money. We didn't lose money. It wasn't a lot of money, but we did come out in the black, and that will go towards next year's fireworks. We'd like to make that bigger and better next year. We learned a lot. There's a few things we'd like to change. We'd like to be down in Thurston Park next to the chicken dinner. I think it would be more profitable down there. But this year, because it was a Sunday and the liquor licensing and all of that that goes along with it, it was a lot more expensive for a liquor license on a Sunday in a park than it was for us to be up at the Chamber Cabin. So that's kind of how we ended up down there. But, so we would like to, we'd like to get down there so the boaters can come out and everybody had a good time. It was well received. We'd like to get, some more activities for the 4th next year to keep people in town a little bit longer. But all in all, I think we did pretty good. So the 8,000 that we raised at our dinner auction this year, and then the DDA kicked in some money, the Village of Central Lake kicked in some money, and we had a $15,000 fireworks show this year, which I think is pretty good considering last year we had nothing.
Everybody's commented how well it was this year.
Yeah, everybody loved it. I haven't heard any negative
We just have to
comments.
thank Neil and Don Rogers because they had to move their cows out.
Yeah, they had cows this
Worried
year,
about the
so.
cows.
Well,
About the
Yep.
calves.
they were going a little wild.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably were
Yeah,
not
and-
very happy, but overall, I think it was a pretty good, successful 4th.
Thank you, Chamber and DDA.
Yeah, thank
It
you.
was
Thank
very,
you,
it
guys.
was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day. Good job from beginning to end.
see, correspondence, Amy Drake. Let's see. Good evening. I was not able to be in person tonight. I was able to watch the meeting in the village council's YouTube page. I'm quite discouraged regarding trustee Chapman's statement of, quote, "We don't owe her anything," unquote. Though his statement may hold truth regarding Kelly and Graceful Laboratories, it does not hold truth to your residents who voted for a marijuana establishment to be allowed within the village. I'd like to remind each and every one of you that it's just not Kelly or Graceful Laboratories that came to you in the April 15th, 2021 meeting and asked for and supported the request for amendment in regards to the setback. You all know legally you have to allow an establishment, period. I do not understand why you all seem complacent to piss taxpayers' monies away on lawyers for this lawsuit when the inevitable fact is an establishment has been allowed to be here, period. The location of this establishment should not even play a factor in stopping this madness, comma. The state law under MRTMA gives you the authority to allow for a setback or a different method of measuring, period. Drawing this process out is only stopping funding from coming into our village, the sales tax on this product that can be used for a multitude of other things in the village, period. One being created a police fund that you are now having Brian Graham draw up a 5 millage request to put on the next ballot to vote on. As a taxpayer, I would not be supporting that when the funds generated by a marijuana establishment could fund the police department in the same amount, period. It is my hope that this mediation team will set aside their own personal beliefs of this establishment and actually come to a resolution in this lawsuit and not drag it out any further, period. Again, it is just not Kelly or her company, Graceful Laboratories, that requested a setback to be allowed, period. Village of Central Lake citizen, Amy Drake. Let's see, Anthony, Anthony DePeel. My landlord, Michelle Matthew, said in Judge Cooney's courtroom during a hearing with me, Anthony DePeel, parenthesis, which is publicly online YouTube so anyone can see, close parenthesis, that Scott Barrett reached out to my landlord, Michelle Matthew, and contacted her, quote, that Scott Barrett contacted me to have Anthony evicted, close quote. How is it legal for the town cop to contact someone's landlord and tell her that she needs to evict 2 kids and their parents? How is it serving and protecting by ignoring complaints and reaching out to tell them they need to evict someone because quote, again, they cause trouble, close quote, in his opinion. I told people that, quote, I was a thorn in his side and he just wants to shut me up till I move, close quote. In a prior email to Officer Livingston and the district attorney, period. This supports my belief, period. How could someone we trust to uphold law make attempts at making my family and children homeless? This is my family not good enough for the Officer Barrett standards, question mark. Do my children don't deserve a home in Officer Barrett's opinion? Is this why any report I make to him goes unsolved? I mean, my windows were shot out by a silver Dodge with black replacement windows on the passenger side. Later that day, Scott's watching vehicles pull in and clearly sees the said vehicle because he waves at him. How do I know? Question mark. A female friend told the story to his dropping her son off and seen it happen 2 days in a row. On top of all other reports and videos, I have proving everything I have said. I even have video faces literally running into my car drunk, then pointing. No charges, no nothing. Not even hitting or running or vandalism. I was called paranoid, yet now Officer Barrett proving my case, reaching out to my landlord, telling her she needs to evict me on YouTube. She says in court, period, this is why 2 boys have harassed us, drink with minors, drive drunk, follow me, my children, mother assaults us, constantly accosts us publicly, and has allowed this to happen for years. None of this is legal right in any way. So then we got another letter,
Who's it signed by?
Anthony DePeel, Anthony J. DePeel. Here's from the landlord, to whom it may concern. What was said by officer to me in regards to Anthony when he called me to tell me that was at my residence and his window was shot? I asked him what I could do. His response was, quote, I cannot give you legal advice. You need to file the paperwork in court. Michelle Matthew, landlord. Scott, how many contacts have we had with Mr. DePeel?
What happens is anytime we get contact with people, it's registered in RMS, which is report management system. Mr. DePeel has 126 contacts.
How many years has he been here?
I would, less than I've been here, so I would say 6, 8 years.
Okay.
For kicks and giggles, I ran a couple board members just for kicks and giggles. And one had 4 contacts, the other one had 8 contacts. So, I mean, for somebody to have 126 contacts is extreme. So, and we're getting complaints all the time from him, people complaining about him. And I know somebody on the board has had a personal contact with him too, so.
Who was that?
I'll let you
Oh.
put this out.
Oh.
He's threatened me and my tree service crew with physical violence because we work.
So, I mean, kind of in a nutshell, we've had 20, 30 plus complaints this summer from him, or about him, where he's reached out and contacted people. And I can share this with you because I've already talked to people. Luke Hoffman is one person he's been going after. Rich Carpenter was another person. I mean, people that are, thought of really highly in our community, he's reaching out, harassing them and threatening them. And I have 2 more requests on my desk right now, waiting for supplement reports to pursue charges on him. So, I mean, and then the one he's talking about in question was just an MDOT complaint, not an MDOT complaint, that somebody would buy and shot his window out with a BB gun. So, if you guys have a copy of that report too.
I just got the report, and if anybody would like to see said report, Andrew can make copies.
It's a pretty simple report. And then my comment or contact with Michelle Matthews, because she's the property owner. So when I do a report for malicious destruction of property, I have to indicate who the owner is, what the value of the property that's damaged, if there's any insurance company that, needs to be noted, stuff like that. So she and I had a conversation about Mr. DePeel, and, my comment to her was, I can't give legal advice, and if you are looking to evict somebody, you have to do it through district court. So.
Scott, did it actually break the window with a BB gun?
No.
Was there any damage to the window at all?
No, just damage to a screen. So, and I don't know if it was new or whatever, but old damage or whatever. But I mean, the report will show that as far as I handled the complaint, which was good. So, it's been. I mean, the sheriff's department, you can talk sheriff's department, you can talk state police. We're all getting kind of a lot of complaints. I mean,
We've wasted enough time on this.
Yeah, we're getting 2, 3 complaints.
That's ridiculous. Thank you for your patience with that situation, Scott. Let's see here, M88 roadwork in front of you. You've got some full-page pictures regarding the ADA sidewalk ramps that go across the roads. I'll read the correspondence in regards to the legality of our old ADA ramps. Hi, thanks for getting back to me. This is information I mentioned. Our office wanted to make the village aware that the 2022 MDOT plans to resurface M88 through Central Lake from the south of Brooks north to existing pavement joint at Ellsworth Road. As part of the roadway resurfacing, we need to upgrade the sidewalk ramps to current standards. This will include replacing concrete sidewalk and curb gutter where necessary to ensure the slopes are adequate, and also placing detectable warning plates. With that, we have a couple options for your considerations. Items. 1, currently there is a red stamp pattern concrete at the intersections. We are proposing to replace the concrete that is removed with standard concrete, no colored pattern. If you have concerns with this proposal, let us know. We can discuss it and see how we can accommodate your preference. 2, detectable warning in advance of the intersection. currently stamped into the concrete will need to be replaced with a plate. This will need to be a color that contrasts with the concrete color. We often specify metal/cast iron plates with standard colored concrete. Again, if you have any concerns with this, please let us know. If cast iron is not specified, there are several color options if that is preferred instead. Our 2022 construction schedule has not been determined. Once it is, we'll communicate with you the schedule for this specific project. Please feel free to call me or email me with questions or feedback about considerations. I look forward to hearing back from you, Chelsea Kramer, Cost and Scheduling Engineer, MDOT. Pat Landrum, Dina,
Are you gonna read something for me, or do I get to just speak?
you didn't give me anything to read.
So, thank you guys for letting me be on the agenda. It has been a long time since I've been here, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on the water trail. The last time I was here, there wasn't a water trail. It was still in the process. So thank you guys for being a partner on the water trail. Ultimately, there are 19 jurisdictions who approved 84 access sites to create the 100 miles of trail through the chain of lakes. And so we're grateful for your support and making it happen, because really without everybody doing it, it wouldn't work. So thank you guys for being a part of it. I wanted to share, I just have a little bit. Yeah. Just, you know, how to do a good job. I would have sent it to you guys earlier, and then it would have been in it. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So as you've seen in Thurston Park, at all 84 access sites, there are signs. So there's signs at the water's edge at all 84, and then in parks like Thurston Park, Ellsworth, and there are kiosks that have more information, that has the map, and also the other side has different kinds of educational panels. So we actually developed along the trail system 38 different panels that share different messages about stewardship and safety that paddlers will see as they travel throughout the chain on those kiosks. In addition to the signage at all of the access sites, we have 2 websites that we developed as well. One is the state website. The state has a water trail website, so we've shared our information with the state, and so paddlers can go there to find detailed information and driving directions on the state. But as an organization, we developed a website that kind of hosts all of the water trail information all in one spot. So people can find out about the different access sites, the different routes, the different communities that are available, places where they can stay, liveries that they can rent. So it's kind of like a one-stop shopping for people who are residents or visitors who want to know more about the water trail. It's all in one stop. We also developed a paddler guide that Bachman's is selling on our behalf, and we're grateful. It's a waterproof paddler guide that has all the information about the water trail, stewardship, safety, each community, a map of the water trail. That's available for purchase. So we have it on our website, but it's also available locally for people when they're in town that they can purchase as well. I'm a map person, but I know a lot of people are digital and are going to their phones to find information as well. And so we've also developed a app that people can download on their phone. So there's an app called Avenza. And so paddlers, or I've learned a lot of motorized boaters on the chain as well, are downloading it as well. You download the app, it's free. You search in their store for the Chain of Lakes Water Trail. You can download a free map, and once the information is on your phone, you don't need cell service, and you're like a little blue Google Doc, and you can find out where you are anywhere on the chain. So it's a really cool app.
What's the name of the app again?
Avenza, Avenza. App maps. And so we've done that, and we have seen a lot of the rental places, especially on the lower chain, are sharing it with people who are renting boats on Torch and Elk and other things, so people, know where they are as well. I've actually sold a lot of the paddler guides to people who are putting in their motorized boats in the pontoons as well on the chain, so people, have some more information. So those are the kind of the maps that we have also created as part of the water trail. And so I just wanted to kind of share that we appreciate that it's in. These are the things that are available to your residents, to visitors that come. We have rat cars that we can share. That's something the village or the campground is interested in having available with more information about the water trail. And we're just grateful for your partnership and making it happen. And so we have water trail champions, so we're committed to the water trail and keeping it on and maintaining it in the future. And so we have people who have adopted water trail signs, and so they help fund the maintenance of the signs in the future. And so there are opportunities throughout the chain as well. And we also have site monitors who are going out to all of our access sites at least every 2 weeks, monitoring the signs, making sure there's not anything going on. We've already had one sign disappear at a road end. But we're out there making sure that, people can see the signs are well maintained. And so we have volunteers that are out doing that as well. So if you ever do have any questions though, feel free to reach out, and we are happy to continue to work with you guys to create this awesome experience for visitors and our residents. So thank you guys.
Is there a link to Thurston Park Campground on any of these other websites?
Yes.
Perfect.
So on our website, we list all of our campgrounds. Yep. And it is on there. So
I'd like to see a little event, like in the fall, when it slows down a little bit. Like we have the paddlers stay at the campground and, I don't know, something like that.
something past the big festival that comes in September. We are doing the
Yeah.
festival again this year.
Oh, you are?
We
Okay.
are. So
All right.
Paddle Antrim back on?
we are. So
Okay.
the festival is back on. It is September. We'll be through here on Friday, September 17th. And then it's the 18th in the lower chain. So we already have 120 people registered for the
All right.
festival already. So we're really excited about that. Speaking of bathrooms, I will ask, will the bathrooms be open or do I need to make sure I have more porta potties? Because we do have a lot of people that come through Thurston Park.
On that day?
On that day.
We can unlock them for that day, sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, because if I need to make other arrangements, I will,
Nope.
but
Well,
Yeah,
email
Just
Andrew.
remind
I
me.
will.
I'd rather drive.
Oh, yeah. If anything we need to do to make sure, we can bring toilet paper, whatever, so I appreciate that, that's huge, because we will have, almost everybody does the first day, so in 2019, we had 170 paddlers that came through, in Central Lake, and we're in and out like 2 hours, so it gets pretty crazy down there, so. Yeah, but thank you guys, so any questions on the water trail, the festival, other stuff that we're doing?
That's a Friday. Okay.
It is Friday.
Nope, I don't. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Committee reports, Mike Ring, streets, sidewalks and lights,
No report.
sewer and water, Ralph.
We had to do the meters 3 weeks early because of the new system, and Andrew was gonna be gone, so they did the readings 3 weeks early. Is that what I remembered?
No, it's like, well, no, just because of the software, I'm not gonna be, I'm here.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Just because of the software?
Yeah, we're starting on Monday, so,
Okay.
so I think they got done, what, 2 weeks early? Yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be a little different. The next period will be a little longer then.
Correct.
That's about all I have. It's not in Sam's report.
Bill, law enforcement.
I think the chief covered everything pretty well. I'd like to ask for the board's support and finding an agreement with Torch Township. I think that's a viable working arrangement that would allow us possibly to have a work plan.
All right, okay. Communications, Kip.
I'll talk about it later on.
Action item, let's see, D. All right, perfect, thank you. Brian, personnel and finance.
I will talk about on action items under A. Obviously tonight with Mrs. Stenbeck being here, we've had a couple other issues that the campground and personnel committee is gonna get together with Maggie and set up a meeting and go over some issues. And the rest of it that I have, I will talk about on page 2.
Personnel committee, or is that campground committee? Just
That
so
would
I
be,
I think you just,
that will be the campground.
Okay.
Parks and Public Property, Michelle.
Have we covered everything already? Pretty
I think
much?
so, yes.
Okay.
The pavilion bathrooms, we got that worked out.
And I'll follow up on the rain garden thing, Rob.
All right, thank you.
Because I saw it there and I figured what had happened is the intern had finished with whatever he had
Uh-huh.
going there. And I mean, it's that wet swampy area anyway, and I'm comfortable having native plants there, but I'll just double check and see what else we can do to alert people that that is a rain garden and the role that it plays in the ecosystem. I've also talked with the Conservation District about over the next year, getting some little signs to put near the creek or the different, at the shoreline of the different habitats, the frog you might catch in this creek, what kind of frog it is and what its life cycle is, and just kind of have a couple opportunities for kids to learn as they're down there playing and having fun. So that's just the teacher in me. I just got to put signs up that inform everybody.
That's good.
If that works out for you guys.
You might want to put up some kind of sign that says what that area is.
Right, what a ring, yeah, right, exactly, and the
It's
role
not
that it plays.
obvious.
Mhm, yep. Yeah, and so I'll see if that grant is totally depleted, and I'll find funding for any additional signs that we might have made to explain the purpose of the rain garden and other natural points of interest.
All right,
How does that sound?
Good, sounds like a job.
President's report, I don't have a report, I just want to thank Scott again for July 4th weekend. I don't know, you all know the president came through on Saturday, so he had a very long day on Saturday. And then obviously Sunday, he had the parade. After the parade, he had to go over and start preparing for the fireworks, and then that night, he had to come down to the campground. And this is the first time at the campground in a long time we didn't have any problems. And I think that's attributed to Scott and his extra patrol, and I want to thank you for that, first and foremost. And then also I want to thank the Chamber for the wonderful job they did volunteering their time. Sherry Fuss, April Siddiqui, Matt Gaber, Sarah Goldberg, Lisa Dawson, beer provided, not free, by Jack and Courtney King, wine and cider by Greg Schooks, Cellar 1914. Additionally, I want to thank all the local businesses and individuals who donated items we auctioned off. It was a great time. I encourage everyone to join the Chamber. We've got a nice pavilion down there. It was a beautiful night. A lot of people had a lot of fun. It was a long time since you've seen people with the whole thing that's been going on. So again, I encourage everybody on the board. I'll put a Chamber application in your box. And I don't know if they've set the Chamber dinner up for next year or not, but I think it's definitely something to be supported.
Mr. President, can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. The farmer's market.
Oh, yeah,
they've
thank
had
you.
Rainy nights for 3. I think this is their 3rd or 4th week. They've had rainy nights every time. They've had about 5 to 7 vendors. But they do there's some traffic going on. It's building, I think, a little support or building some support. And there's also been live music down at the new pavilion on Friday nights from 6 to 9. And I can't remember the name of the,
They won't be back until mid-August.
oh yeah, did we make them
13th or
mad?
14th. No, they just announced that. I was down there listening. when
Okay.
They announced that.
Okay, all right.
Oh, geez, come on.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Probably could have later, but.
So that more good uses of the pavilion and good things that are happening in town.
And I think also on the pavilion note, I think that DDA is gonna buy some, I don't know how it all works. He's gonna try to buy some banners for the end. We have one. There's kind of many people know. And so anyway.
Oh, about the farmer's market?
Yep.
Okay.
So they're gonna see if we can get Sam to put up the banners when we get them.
I think every week it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And there have been different vendors, so it's not just the same old people. And then those businesses stay open downtown, or at least some of them do. And like I provided 25% discount to any of the vendors, you know, and Mammoth does a drink special, Fudgies does a ice cream special, so.
Yeah, Mammoth's been actually buying every vendor a drink, which at Mammoth is not cheap. And they've been buying them every week.
I'll have to be a vendor then.
I tell you, I want to be a vendor. I want to lie and get an extra card. when I go down
Let's
there.
make friendship bracelets or something.
Pretty generous of them, I think.
Yeah, very nice. So, good.
Okay, well, thank you all. Let's see. Item 10, approval of the bills. Total approved, $290,000, $290,038.06.
Make a motion to approve those.
We do a roll call, please, since you're spending money.
The big check was for the street sweep.
That's correct. Yeah, that's what, yeah.
I signed a $200,000 check.
Chapman,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hines.
Yeah.
Patton,
Yes.
Rain,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Turn the page, new business, nothing under 11, new business, 12, action items. A, Sam Mullins retention. I'm gonna turn that over to Brian.
Okay. Sam and Andrew, you guys can chime in if you have anything to say. 29th of June, me, Bill, and Mike Ring met with Sam. Sam is eligible to retire on February 1st of 2022. 2022. We knew this day was coming. You know, Sam's getting old. So the certifications that Sam has, water certification and sewer certification, it takes somebody 18 months to work in that field to get the proper certifications that they need. So, it's gonna take 18 months to train somebody. I asked Sam if we could hire him for 3 days a week, just to bring him back. When we hire somebody, if we could hire him for 3 days a week. He said that his pension does not allow him to come back and work part-time.
Anybody that's a member of our pension.
Yep. Since the virus hit, they have not been able to do their continuing education credits. He needs 3.4 credits over the next 3 years. He's not willing to go get the credits if he's gonna retire. I talked to Sam today. He's still up in the air whether he's willing to stay on or not. So the one-on-one account has only accounted for $1,900 of Sam's wages. The other came out of the other accounts, local street, major streets, water funds, and the sewer fund, equipment fund. Only 3% of his wages comes out of the one-on-one account fund. Average pay is $59,000 for a person with a water and sewer certification in the United States.
What's the average? I'm sorry.
59,000. Average pay is 49,000 for a person in the state of Michigan.
Just for a water license.
Just for a water certification, right? Okay, now this is all up for discussion. We didn't make any decisions. We're going on the council's recommendations here. Sam is possibly willing to stay if he would get a raise in his hourly wages of $3 per hour on the March 2022 budget and $3 per hour on the March 2023 budget. Or he is also willing to work for an extra $2 an hour if we would put $2,000 more into his HSA account. What we determine is gonna determine when we have to start looking for somebody. If he leaves in February, if we're not willing to give him the extra money, we need to start advertising for a person right now. If we agree to give him the money, we can start advertising probably about the first of the year. Our odds of finding a person with the sewer and water certifications is just like Scott's trying to find a part-time police officer. It's probably gonna be slim and none to find somebody that has both certifications that's willing to come up here for the money that we offer. So we're probably gonna have to hire, just like we did with Sam, just like we did with Steve, just like we've done with Jeff. We're probably gonna have to hire somebody from the outside, bring them in, and train them ourselves. Steve has both certifications. Steve's not willing, he's not willing to commit how much longer he is going to work. I was hoping that we could use Steve's certifications to help train the new person, but who knows how long everybody's about the same age now. So does anybody have any questions?
I'd like to make a motion to retain Sam.
I'll second that motion.
We're just retained with the additional,
$3 an hour, either one, $3 an hour or $2 and 2,000 to the HSA. Sam, would you prefer it in the HSA, so you're not paying taxes on
It does
it?
not matter to me which way it goes, because it's all the same.
Well, you don't pay taxes on the
There's a
HSA.
cost of living raise involved too, keep that in mind. Whatever you guys give, my guys for cost of living is also mine. I get the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
but still then that gives us what, 2 more years?
At least a year and a half.
And that would give me till I'm Social Security at that point.
It would at least give us a year and a half from now until that way it gives us 18 months to try to get somebody in and get somebody trained.
And somebody that can write a test.
So that's how long it'll take them to take the classes?
What Eagle says, which is DEQ, now
Yeah.
Eagle, says you must show 18 months of service within the field, 20 hours per week before you're eligible to write the test. That's how they lay it out.
Okay.
I think, I mean, well, I made a motion, but
I second it.
Yeah.
You can rescind it.
No, I'm not gonna
Well, we're
rescind
just-
it.
We're not debating right now anyway, so
I
Brian,
need clarification of the
Mike,
motion.
excuse me.
Which way? $3 per hour?
Sam, do you use the
$2 per hour?
HSA, are you gonna use the HSA money? Because it's better for you to put it in the HSA.
HSA saves me on taxes.
That's
I
right.
agree
See, I'd
100%.
like to make a motion that 2,000 goes into the HSA and a $2 an hour raise.
And I'm good either way.
So you rescinded your first motion.
No, I'm actually being more picky about how we're spending.
You're-
So you're rephrasing your original motion.
Clarify the
Okay,
original
that's what I
motion.
wanted to know.
Can I continue on here?
Yeah, I'm
You
sorry.
mean you're
Oh,
not?
we're good, we're good. The one issue that I've been thinking about is we have 4 other employees. How do we treat the other 4 employees when we're giving one person basically $4,000 to $5,000 a year more? What do we do with Scott? What do we do with Jeff? What do we do with Steve? What do we do with Andrew?
Well, I think that myself and the way I think about it is we have to have someone there with water and sewer, or there's people not gonna drink and there's people not gonna be able to go to the bathroom. And I think that we have to, in my mind, because Steve, I talked to Steve too in a month or so, and he's like, yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. And we have to have somebody to train a new guy. And I think it's a mistake. I mean, discussion, but I think we ought to start looking for
I think we should
It should,
now.
now, yeah, not in January. I think we need to start looking now, see if we get any applications. I mean, we're behind the 8 ball, which we knew we would be because everybody we have is of the age where they're starting to think about retiring.
Can I ask a couple questions? About what percentage of your time, Sam, is spent with the water and sewer
And
job?
you should have a piece of paper. Did you give all a piece of paper, Andrew?
Yeah, so 5.9,
You see a percentage rate in front of.
Oh, it's not up by account.
5.90 is
It's set up
sewer.
by account,
Yeah.
like 31% or 33% of my hours
I don't
are
think we
spent
got
within the water account.
It's this one right here. So 5.90 is sewer, and we put that down about 14%, and 5.91 water at 28%.
Should have made another column.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
What are those, what are the two accounts for water and sewer?
5.90 is sewer, and 5.91 is water. So it makes up about 42% of his time, those two.
okay, so about a half-time employee, about.
Right.
22%, yeah.
Okay, and so I'm just wondering if there's any way that we could collaborate with another, like Ellsworth, you know, sort of like we're
He
talking a
doesn't
little
have
bit.
sewer, he doesn't have sewer.
But I mean, with somebody that does have that certification, like whoever Bel Air has or something like that.
There's other things that fall into that now, chemicals. Central Lights, the only one's got chemicals. Ellsworth does not have chemicals. That's a totally different license. Bel Air, if I'm right, Bel Air does not do any chlorination. No chlorination, no phosphate.
No, but and I wanted
Sure.
to suggest, so a couple things, Ellsworth will have sewer because we're working with them on a new sewer system. And Tex wants to retire, like yesterday, just like somebody else, and we don't want them to retire. But I do want to offer, so as far as water and sewer licensing goes, GFA does operate in a backup capacity to help Ellsworth when Tex is on vacation. Same thing, we have came in a backup capacity only, never full-time, because we have the licensing, but I guess there could potentially be opportunity to share a licensed individual with Ellsworth, because they will have a sewer system, probably within 2 years, I would speculate. So, I just wanna, that may be something plausible to think about, but that doesn't but there's other work, sidewalks, streets, all that other maintenance, but there's no license, there's not licensing
You
affiliated.
just
So that
gotta
is something,
learn how to run a foot.
right, but that may be something you guys may wanna think about in that regard.
Well, I think if, you know, this is an opportunity to think about the position and the structure of the DPW, if there's gonna be the retirements and turnovers and stuff like that, that it might be wise for us to look at all the possibilities, because that licensing, when you started working here, that licensing wasn't part of the job, was it? Like at
Yes,
the
it
very
was.
beginning,
Yes, it
like
was.
30 years ago, or however long it was?
31 years ago, yes, it was.
Okay,
You had to get
Okay.
a license, you get, the first thing you gotta get is what they call a distribution license.
Yeah.
That allows you to dig the mains up when they break and repair them. If you don't have it, you can't do it.
Okay.
Now, when you start putting chlorine and phosphate in the water, you gotta get what they call a D license, and that's for chemicals. It's totally separate license from the S license.
which is sewer.
No,
No.
the S is still water. S is distribution of water. D is chemicals going into the water.
So I guess what I was saying is if you can find just an S, I mean, we could help you at least in the interim with a D and offer possibly someone an avenue to have someone for training purposes. Because correct, Ellsworth does not have chemicals, Bel Air does not have chemicals. But we do have someone with chemical licensing that could be an avenue for someone to train under.
Oh.
depending on-
What is,
Well,
which is out of curiosity,
But that
what's your
costs,
cost?
but to have us costs money, which is, because we have.
About how much, Jennifer? Throw me a ballpark. What it costs an hour?
Our operator runs 85 an hour.
That's good to know, though, that you guys.
But we
have-
also-
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted.
But
$2.
we do it as backup, we're doing it for Meadowbrook right now too as backup, because they can't find anyone, because nobody's going through these classes anymore. Just like, you can't find other people, so
We do offer it as backup. I would never encourage you guys to go full-time until, yes, and we don't want to do that either.
I just wanted education, is all I wanted to do.
Don't put it on the record, Linda.
But please put on the record that Mammoth's been donating cocktails.
Yes.
Please.
But it's good
That's
to
gonna
know that
favor
you
it.
have, because we're coming in for Meadowbrook right now, once a month, and providing that disinfection, so.
How many hours does it take? About.
Well, it's just a drive time,
It
so
depends
now
on what
we're
they're doing.
an hour, and our operator comes in an hour a month, and then the
Okay, so
drive
it's
time.
3 hours,
3-4 hours, yeah.
3 or 4 hours. That, you agree with that?
No, I disagree with that because I have to take chlorine residuals every day on the distribution.
We have someone that's,
So now there's 2 hours a day right there.
we're not doing that, they
Yeah,
have
see,
someone.
they still got their own operator running. it.
Yes.
They're supporting
Yes.
the chemical license.
We're
So
just
I
the
don't look
backup
at paying
license.
them.
You're just supporting the license.
Correct,
Somebody else.
yes,
So-
thank you for that clarification, yeah.
But,
So there's still a lot of behind the scenes staff time that's happening.
you know, the thing we gotta think about though too is the now, I mean, when people like Sam leave, the knowledge of the water system, the sewer system, that this and that, I mean, he should pass that along to the next guy. And the next guy is probably gonna remember maybe 25% of that.
Well, it's just like when Ron Donaldson retired.
I was lost, buddy.
Ron had more knowledge up here than anybody ever had. So now it's time to get somebody on board and work with Sam at least for a year and a half.
Agreed.
And
Because we gotta, like Ralph says, we gotta have water, we gotta have sewer. Sam is the only person that can run the backhoe. We have to have our streets plowed.
does he have a CDL? That's,
Of course.
I mean, right now, finding a driver.
That can pass a drug test.
Yeah. Well, you're just finding anybody that said, what, hey, you know, working for the county.
Absolutely.
6
Find
hours.
somebody that don't, they don't even give them a drug test.
3 or 4 construction. You know, it's gonna be hard.
The biggest thing I would say to the board is, if you're considering it, keeping me on, really think about putting something together to put out for applications. I would recommend around the first of the year, and the only reason I recommend that gives you guys 2 months to go over what you decide on. You got a budgeting year coming in March 1st of 2022. That's the time to add your new employee.
So.
Because if you start adding an employee now in your 21-22 budget, you're gonna run into big time issues with your auditor, just like we do every year.
Well, I think now is the time to start discussing
Putting stuff
together. Absolutely.
So do we let one go when we put one on to work with?
I don't think so.
No.
No, you
See what
can't.
I'm saying, no?
Because the guy we put on is gonna be just a dummy following Sam,
Yeah, exactly.
But he's gonna be doing it.
you know?
He's gonna be doing the same thing I used to do, mow grass, so you know what's gotta be mowed, fix sewer, dig up water lines,
He's just gonna be
dig up breaks, know what the DEQ rules are.
But then when you're doing all the stuff, he's gonna have to follow you around
Oh, yeah,
on stuff you did by yourself.
oh, yeah.
He's just gonna be a shadow. That's all he's gonna be.
We're not talking about,
But when it comes to plowing and.
He's gonna have to learn how to do all that 100%, and I agree with that.
but we're not talking about getting rid of anybody.
No,
That's just.
Well, that's what I'm asking, are we
No,
gonna increase
not
our
really.
employees by one for a year and a half?
We have to.
yeah, we actually,
That's a consideration, you know?
Right now, you're going into, we still haven't put the sewer system in yet. And this is the time, if you're gonna add an employee, is to get that employee on the payroll. And we can relook at our water rate studies. It's up, it's time to do it. I told Ralph I was gonna do it 8 months ago. I've yet to do it.
Yeah,
Now is the time to do that, so when you're going into your 22-23 budget, you know where your numbers are at, and you know whether or not you can afford a full-time employee or not.
We're gonna have to afford a full-time employee. I don't think we have, I don't think the
We
choices
have
are.
to have another one.
I think
See
we
what I'm
do.
saying?
Yeah, I think we do. I really do. For a while.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if we have one too many, we'll get rid of an outhouse and have somebody clean the bathroom. Well, gosh, Sam, it's $250 a month. If you have 3 of them spread all over town.
I just like the way you say it, Ralph, that's all. I love the way you say it.
Well,
Well, and, you know, thinking ahead, if we pursue,
Hang on, Michelle, go on.
thinking ahead, if we pursue, a public safety millage, that would free up a little general fund.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So it's, in order to be well poised for the future, we need to make an investment right now in personnel that's gonna be costly, but it'll
smooth
serve
transition.
us, we hope the person would stay for his or her entire career. But I think Sam has made some wise recommendations here that we need to think about it now, act on it in the spring with the new budget, and put it all in place so that when he qualifies for Social Security and chooses to retire, that the village is in as good of a position as it can be.
A smooth transition.
Smooth transition, as smooth as it can be.
Exactly.
You turned
Still
65
got that
in
motion.
2023, is that
I turned 60 in March of 22.
65, whatever? I'm making him older.
I'm eligible for my pension in March
Yeah,
of next year.
well, look how comfy he looks all the time, yeah.
There's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, but, so
You're right.
you'll call, in
I
2023
think they're
then?
number 48, if that means anything to you.
Oh,
I've
okay,
dealt with 48 different council members in 31 years,
okay,
so
all right.
that's why I look the way I look.
Oh, well. All right.
Thanks, that's a compliment.
next election, you'll add at least one.
Hey, Ralph.
May I just offer just a suggestion or thought, with the retention of employees and bringing on new folks and keeping them for more than like a year, training them and having them leave. I know that there are practices out there that, you know, on onboarding that you require somebody to commit to being on board for like 3 years or something. So just food for thought, for consideration as you're looking to hire somebody, you don't want to train them and lose them. That could be something that your lawyer could potentially.
So they signed a contract, basically.
Yeah, because you're investing in them for the training and things. So, you know, that was always something that I had a candid conversation with managers when I were to, you know, teach people how to do things at the store and stuff, to make sure that they were going to be with me for a certain period of time. So,
Yeah.
there's
And
ways to
isn't
keep
that what Bel Air's doing?
Yeah.
What Bill's doing,
With their law
paying
enforcement,
somebody to go to.
That's what the village is trying to like do, but never.
it's almost an unenforceable rule.
When I first came on here, that was the incentive, but it disappeared when.
They try to get them to do it, but
Ralph, what was your motion again?
I'd like Sam to
You may not
receive.
want them either, so there's got to be
Well, are we
some
gonna close
cost.
discussion?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do the
Well,
motion.
You're in charge of that.
Oh, yeah, just any other discussion?
I'm good.
My motion is for Sam to receive a $2 an hour pay increase and a $2,000 addition to his HSA
Starting in March.
starting in March.
$2 an hour and?
A $2,000 HSA contribution a year.
March of
Extra.
2022.
So 2,000 HSA and $2 an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
As of March 2022.
Yes.
All right, I seconded it. Let's do a roll call on that, please.
All right. Chapman,
yes.
Drake,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Taylor.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
All right, let's see. 12B, Police Department millage. Andy, you wanna kind of shed some light on this, because you've got all the options there.
Yeah, so, last meeting, you asked, me to get with Brian Graham to write up, language for the police millage. So that's what he did. He wrote it up for 5 mills. I divided it out below from anywhere to 1 to 6 mills, so we can just, replace 5 with whatever number you decide. And then the period of 4 years, that makes it coincide with a future election year. So that way then we can be on a regular election and not have to, election cycle and not have to pay for the election like we will this one.
I'll make the same motion I made before, would be to institute the 5 mil.
Second.
I'd like to just
Yeah, I'd like
Discuss
to
this a little
discuss.
bit.
discuss a little bit before we do this. With the conversations I've had with the people in town, that 5 mils are not gonna pass.
Yeah.
3 probably would, and we just have to, if there is a difference to make up, we just have to make it up. I doubt very seriously 5's gonna pass.
Well, and looking forward,
What does it cost right now when we had a part-time officer?
It was about 110,000. So that would be at the 4 mils.
We were only budgeted 93,000.
Yeah, we added 20,000 last year to the 90,000. And we were still over budget with
How
that,
much
yeah.
went back into the general fund though?
10.
What was
It
it?
cost 110, it cost 100.
We brought 10 back out. But anyways, Michelle, you were.
No,
you wanted to
last,
say
last
something?
year, at the end of last year, it was 115,000.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Michelle, you were gonna say something?
yep,
And that was without, as he likes it, without a person for 4 months. So
okay.
I'm just saying, yeah.
So I don't think we should expect this millage to entirely fund law enforcement, because I think we could probably, I mean, we can perhaps, whatever percentage of time the officer, the law enforcement works on enforcement in the campgrounds, some of that can come out of, some of the cost of an officer and law enforcement can come out of the campground budget, I think. And also, whether we, in the future, we're going to have revenue from the voter-approved marijuana establishment, and about how much about how much will that provide the village in extra revenue? Do we
Last
know?
year was 28,000.
28,000 last year. Next year's projected at 52.
Kelly, any ideas? No, okay.
I had a chart, I think it was 52,000 next
Okay.
year was projected.
So, that revenue is going to eventually, when
It's all said and
when
done.
it's all said and done, and it's not revenue that we're currently experiencing because we have not yet implemented what the voters approved. But once we do, that will be added revenue. And I don't know what we can budget for, but we can say that a certain percentage of that will be earmarked for law enforcement.
Mhm.
Is that sensible?
So what,
So my point then, coming around, is I don't think we should ask for 5 mils or for, I think, 2.5.
Just out of curiosity, like a 1 mil, what would that cost the taxpayer a
One-
year?
Yeah, 1 mil is,
It's $5 per $1,000. So, or one mil's $1 per $1,000. So it would be about $50.
Aren't we funding him not the correct way now, as I
We're
recall?
not funding him. We're taking it out of 101.
I know, we're not doing it right.
We're
That's what I'm
funding
saying.
him, but we're
That's what I'm
funding
saying,
it-
we're taking that 101, which we're not supposed to be doing.
well,
No, you
we
can.
do it.
Yeah.
We can do that.
No, there's,
Anyway, two-sided conversation, so I'm trying to listen to these. Okay.
there was question on the legality if you could have a millage and pay for it out of 101. We're not sure about that. Like if you can split it up, like with the township fire department, they have their millage, so it doesn't come out of the township general fund because they have a millage. So we're not sure if you can split it up between the two.
Fund it all on.
Yeah, you gotta fund it all out of the mill. Yeah, it's like a
Advantages of-
all or nothing type of thing.
A village on it though is if the money's generated from that village has to go. to
Right,
law enforcement.
exactly.
That's all.
The leftover at the end of the year has to stay
Stay
in
with
law
the-
enforcement.
exactly.
Go in the general fund.
Right, so
Because right now, money gets rolled back into the general fund. The money that I collect for selling inspections gets dropped into the general fund. That doesn't have anything to do with my budget. So whereas year.
How much does that amount to, Scott?
Last year was probably $12,000.
9,000.
9,000?
And I know last time I talked to the auditors, it's 100% on your 101 or it's 100% on millage. You can't fund 50/50 and combine them.
Didn't have that 3% of yours comes out of one of them.
Yeah, you can do
Because
that.
I'm totally different than what.
He doesn't have a millage for it. Yeah.
Totally different, Scott, than public safety. You have to understand that. Public safety is a total different point of way government accounting goes.
But couldn't we say if we, sake of numbers, go 3 mills, 83, then supplement the other, whatever, what did that be, $17,000 to get it to 100, come out of our general fund because it's something ordinance enforcement or campground or something like that.
All you gotta do is call Ryan. He'll tell you real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be the same as the fire department, because that's a public safety as well.
It's totally separate once you.
But he wears many hats, that's what I'm saying. He's law enforcement, he's code enforcement.
Yeah, but he does code enforcement in a police uniform. He doesn't do that in a,
Okay.
because he's still acting as a police officer when he's doing code enforcement.
How hard is it to check on that for sure?
I can call Ryan again tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean,
I think
yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, we could sit here and argue
What
about it all
about
day.
the
but
funds
the truth is
generated
we don't know.
from,
yeah, then that would all go in his, I mean, yeah, that would be
still
part,
going along?
like you have a 202 fund. I think police is 203 or something like, or 201. Or something, I don't know, they have a designated fund, and so it would be the same as the DDA pavilion. Whatever they rent the pavilion for goes into their DDA budget, or into their DDA fund, so whatever.
Why can't we take Scott's salvage money and put
That-
it into the police department budget?
That would.
I agree with Bill and Michelle.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people in the week, 5 mills will not pass.
Mm-mm.
There's no reason
Right.
to even bring it. End it.
You had the 83 plus the 9,000, we're still only at 92,823. We gotta get, what was,
And the thing to remember about the election's one thing, but then if it was to pass, that's not to exceed 5 mils, so you could always charge 3 mils if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't think that if
Yeah.
we cap it at 5, it will pass. It will not pass.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we need to find out exactly how that works with, can we fund it out of campground? Because he's patrolling the campground, we need to know that before we can make an educated decision.
Well, I would say, because you can't charge it to major roads, he's patrolling a major road, but that's not a legal expense to major
But
roads.
it's not a major road. I mean, it's not maintaining a major road.
Right. Yeah.
Once the campground become a separate fund, it's totally different. The only thing you can use campground revenue on is campground improvements. That's reality, guys.
Back in the
Can't
day,
use it to pay for a public safety officer.
I don't think that.
back in the day, the campground used to be part of the 101, and then it all got dumped back into the pot like it was before, but then it got split off, so that money would be earmarked for campground improvements.
I think we need to have more solid information before
Where
we
does the money to
proceed.
fund the campground come from?
The campground only. The
revenues.
nothing comes from any tax money or 101 or anything. It's all campground revenue.
When do we have to approve a millage rate?
Today.
Today.
It has to,
For the November?
for the November election. We have to have the verbiage to the township clerk, so then she can get it on the county clerk.
It's gotta be today, like you've gotta turn it in tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I guess you could do a special meeting, I guess, next week, but
What's the special meeting cost?
400.
Kip's got a question over
What
here.
do we have in the budget for Scott and his?
currently this year
Yeah.
is 95,000. But every year it's went way over budget.
Is that minus into what?
No, that's what do you,
Inspections and stuff.
well, we put in that extra for the self inspections. Remember, we put in the extra $10,000 because of the self inspections into his budget. Because his budget was 85,000, and then we were asked to put the salvage inspection money in there, so we upped it 10,000.
So is it about 3.5
What,
mil?
Scott, what do you think from talking to Mr. Cook, and I know it's nothing for sure, how much do you think he's willing to spend a year
Well, right now he's got 15,000.
for the rest of the year, he said?
Correct. What it happens to be next year, I don't know.
We're on a slippery slope if Andrew is correct about not using any other money other than.
And Sam.
So would the.
And Sam.
Uh,
And Sam.
Would 3.5 mil be roughly about what we have budgeted? I mean,
That would be about, yeah.
So you're saying 1 mil brings it in about
But
30,000?
remember, Scott's been asking for money set aside for a car too. And so if you're right at what you are, you're not setting aside any money for a future car or anything else too.
Could we take car out of 101?
That you could do. You
Yeah.
could buy a police car out of it, out of your 101 account.
I don't care about car, I'm not gonna be here long enough for
but it, I mean.
To
Yeah.
operate and equip the village police department. So the wording says to operate and equip.
So then if you're taking it out of the 101, you're actually not doing what the ordinance, or what.
Right. Yeah. So you probably would have to take it out of the, out of the millage.
Not yet,
That
though.
doesn't sound right to me. I don't think, I think.
I really think we're gonna have another meeting next week when we find out exactly what we can and can't do.
Right.
It's a $400 investment.
I mean, that, you know, the thing of it is that, you know, you're trying to correct, it's come out of the general fund for how many years? And
Right.
now we gotta correct that,
Right.
you know, so it's not coming out of there. And that's the hard part, and for people to understand that, well, we've had a police officer for how many years?
Right.
Why do we have to do this?
I think that, you know, when people in the community have talked to me about it, I've said, you know, as Central Lake, we've operated as a very small village, doing things, you know, as cheaply as possible. And we've just paid for it out of the general fund when every other municipality in the world has their own millage to budget. And we just haven't been doing that. And now it's time to bring ourselves up into the 21st century.
I'm asking stupid questions, so forgive me, I'm stupid. But could we say in the proposal for the police millage, could we reduce the regular millage by 2 points and make the police millage 5? You know what I'm saying? That, or 1.5, reduce the regular, because of what we were putting in the general fund, could we reduce the regular millage so that it was a 3.5?
You would do that in February.
Do that in February.
Yeah.
That's
When,
gotta go to the ballot.
That's
gotta go to a vote too.
No, not to reduce it. They can reduce it in February.
What Ralph's talking.
What I'm talking about is letting the people know.
Oh,
I'm saying let the people know on this election, because they're saying.
oh, to limit
they're
the
not gonna
general fund.
vote. They're not gonna vote for it because it's 5. They'll vote for it if it's 3 or 4. So if we reduced the regular village millage
Oh, the maximum.
Village millage.
maximum.
Oh, I see what you're
1.5,
saying. Okay.
but we're increasing the police millage by 5. So really it's a net gain of 3.5.
I don't think that's a good idea to reduce your general fund millage. Every year our expenses go up, and we've got insurance go up, we've got.
Well,
wages go
but
up.
we're gonna lose the cap for Scott. We're gonna change that.
But that's money that we can use in the general fund for.
But if we have a police officer, if we want a police officer, how bad do you want? I mean, what we should do is pass millage for 5 mils. But they say, talking to the public, that isn't gonna fly. So how bad do you want, if it'll pass at 3.5, but we can't fund the police department with 3.5 mils. So if we fund the police department with 5 and we reduce the general by 1.5, that gives us a net increase of 3.5. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're losing 1.5 in the budget, but we're gaining 5, for Scott.
But if you ask people for 5 mils, they don't care about that 1.5 that they're losing. All they're gonna do is look at that ballot and say 5 mils, yes or no.
No, that's double the cash.
Not only that, you can't afford to lose that one
You
point
can't
five.
afford to lose that 1.5.
The reason you can't fund the police department now is because you don't have enough funds. So
But
you
in
need
the
that
same, in the
1.5.
same millage, what I'm saying is in the same ballot, can we do it so that it's a net of 3.5 gain? We're not losing anything, we're
You're
net
losing
gain.
1.5 out of your regular budget.
Well, we're
I
giving
have
Scott,
1.1
but we're giving Scott 4 right now.
I understand what you're saying.
We're giving him 4 now,
We're gonna lose 1.5 and
or 4 and a little, almost 4.5.
So if
100,000.
If your general millage 12.5 right now, you're gonna reduce it to 11, but yet ask for 5 on the police department to take it from the 12.5 to 11. Do you really honestly think your taxpayers are gonna believe what you're telling them?
Nope.
Let's be real, you guys are all politicians. Nobody's gonna believe it. Nobody's gonna believe it. That's reality. I said on them boards, I know. I know what it was like.
So, do we table it and have a meeting next week? That was an option.
No.
You do.
Didn't get something to say?
I have a question. If we don't get it on the November one, and we put it on in the spring, when is there another election? in the
There
spring?
is, but then you won't have it in time for tax collection.
Then you're losing a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could push it off till a March election, but then it won't be certified and ready in time to get it on because they lock up taxes the end of May, start of June. So it wouldn't, by the time it goes through the certification process and all that, it wouldn't be done in time to get it on the taxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we can get some more information, have a meeting next week.
Next Wednesday? That, when's your township meeting?
Wednesday.
All right, next Thursday then?
The room should be open.
All right, so we're gonna table this till Thursday, till we have more information from Baird Cotter, the accounting firm.
Mhm.
And then we'll decide what we're gonna do.
All right, so you have a motion already in a second, but then you can motion to table it
Yeah,
and then
So-
vote if you want to table it.
we've already got a motion. No, we don't have a motion.
Yeah, Ralph made a motion and Mike supported it.
I would like to make a motion to table my motion until after our
Recent,
special
yeah,
meeting.
all right.
Is that?
And that would be Thursday,
Well-
the 22nd?
Correct.
Yes, okay. I'm fine with that.
Do a roll call, because I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm too.
All right, so Ralph had a motion, Mike seconded it, and then now Ralph's making a motion to table it,
All right.
which preempts the previous motion. So,
Okay.
all right, Chapman,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
Fox,
To table.
to table, yeah.
Yes, to table.
Hines,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Ring,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yes. Motion carries to table. Approve a new village building contractor. Corbin Newton let's back up. We approved Corbin Newton to be our general contractor on the new building. He has since backed out. He's just been too busy. We spoke to several other general contractors this week. One person is very interested. His name is Mark Byard. He comes with some recommendations, one being Brian Patton and the other being Andrew Smith.
I'd third that.
What?
I would put a third to that.
Okay, the third on that.
I would put fourth on it.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Mark Byard as the new general contractor for construction of the new village building.
I'll support it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
They'll give you a start date.
Monday.
Next week.
Cool.
Now, it isn't an everyday thing, just Sam, so you know, he's gonna work on rain days in there right now until fall. If we get a bunch of rain, he's gonna be there all the time. But if we don't get a bunch of rain, he's gonna go where he is already scheduled. So it isn't gonna be like he's gonna be there every day.
Yeah.
But something's better than nothing. And his prices were significantly, well, they were 33% less than the only other interested party.
You did a great job for me.
Action item D, Zoom meetings. I'm gonna turn this one over to our communications chairperson, Kip.
Okay. It's been brought to me that to help with the general public, being able to interact at the public meetings. The Zoom brings that option, the best option for that. You know, there are many people that have, you know, medical issues. There's still a lot of people that are afraid of COVID, don't want to come to the meetings. And the Zoom would allow those people to watch the meetings, and then we could have two public comments, or, you know, where we have those in our agenda, where they could ask questions or make comments on it.
Would that come through to Andrew?
The questions would.
The questions would.
Would come through Andrew. I believe Andrew would be open to doing that.
Yeah, the only hard part is like with the county, how they have to read off every, they sit there forever, but hopefully we don't have the same attendance on Zoom as they do.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing, because I've seen that. You know, I watched the county, they continue to do the Zoom interaction as far as the public, but they got a lot of people that go through it, so, that would be the only thing.
Over an hour of public comment at every meeting.
Good grades.
Well,
You willing to try it?
Yeah, we can try it out and see how it goes if you guys want to do that. That was my only concern is, how do we identify who has public comment on Zoom?
They probably need to identify themselves. I mean,
yeah,
There's a raise hand feature.
yeah.
we, you know, and we can, you know, do that where, you know, if somebody has a question or a comment, they could raise their hand.
Yeah.
You know, it would only be during.
Only during those, the public comment.
I think we should do it on a trial basis.
Okay.
Let's pick an end date.
Let's go till the end of the year, see how it works.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
You make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
It's getting late, it's past my bedtime.
I would like to make a motion to do the Zoom meetings on a trial basis until December. And having 2 public comment sessions.
I'll support whatever you say.
Okay, now we're in discussion. I'd like you to shorten the trial period to 3 months.
I think it's gonna take a while to get everybody accustomed to it.
I think it's gonna be a long, drawn-out computer, keyboard, guts, long hour.
I don't think so.
It's an hour for the county because they have some very contentious issues. And people were
So do we.
calling from all over the state. Calling from all over the country, actually.
Oh, really? Well, if I'm wrong, what's the difference in 3 months?
Let's vote on it.
Well, wait a
Let's vote
minute.
on six.
Wait a minute. This is the village, right? And so, I mean, I don't know how the Public Meetings Act goes, but just say we had some contentious issue, we could really only entertain comments from village residents, right? Or village taxpayers?
No, not how you're doing it. It would be anybody that wanted to talk,
But I mean,
unless
when
they were in person.
Right, when they identify themselves though.
That's not, you can't require somebody to
Yeah, you can't
identify
require the
themselves.
county Count that out.
You can't require name, you can't require address.
You can't for a public comment in an open meeting?
No, you can't require any identification as a part of participating in a meeting.
Now, if that bothers you, and.
That's why you do in person, so then you don't have that.
Right.
That's the benefit of the
If
in
you're
person.
concerned about somebody coming across on Zoom and cussing you out a blue streak and, and not, you don't have any way of knowing who they are, they do have to come through on their phone and, or their computer. They can be traced, and they know that. But there's also the option to you of just broadcasting it,
Right.
Facebook Live,
And that's what we're currently doing.
Yeah, we're currently broadcasting on
and making them
YouTube.
come in to do public comment.
Yeah.
They can always write a letter too.
And we do read all letters, so that's another thing.
Well, we have a motion on the table. There's a second. We're getting more discussion? I'm
Let's
sorry.
try it out. We should try it out. Give it a chance, see if it works.
It works real well for most municipalities. People are very polite, and I have not heard of anybody that got ripped from one end to the other. And if anybody was gonna, it would be the county.
Right. And you can,
If they're being disruptive in a public meeting, cut them off.
right.
Yeah, they can be cut off immediately, yeah.
Mute. Right.
So we do have the option to mute them and move on.
Is there like for entering a Zoom meeting, is there like a community standards thing that they could check and agree? I agreed if
I don't think
there's
so.
no community standards.
No, because you
thing.
can join as guest and, yeah,
Wouldn't have the same standard when you're walking the door.
yeah.
I'm all for participation in a meeting, and there's a whole bunch of empty chairs here. If you want to participate, come in and participate.
But
I think listening, I'm all for it being public, so somebody that's at home and they can write a letter next month. That's my opinion. I know, I'm wrong. but it's-
Let's vote on it now.
Hold on.
Oh, Mike's got a
What
comment.
is the time period that's on the table right now?
Through December.
Through December, through the end of December.
Through
We're
the
looking at
December.
five months.
December meeting.
Yeah, including the December.
We're looking
meeting.
at 5
Okay,
months.
yes, okay.
Let's do a roll call.
All right, Chapman,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hines,
No.
Patton,
Yes.
Ring,
No,
Tyler.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
All right, old business. Jennifer, do you have anything to add before we close out the meeting here? Okay.
Thank you.
So 13A, under old business, general contract for the new building. We've already discussed that in action item. Ordinance to amend the village central marijuana establishment ordinance. We're tabling that till August. 13C, Howard Street tax sales. That was a Howard Street property that was foreclosed and the village could buy it for $3,200.
I just got an email about that. So it is, because it was unclear whether or not it was going to stay at 3,200, depending on if there was any interest from the owner. There was no interest from the owner. So it is 3,290, I believe is the amount. And the school was interested in it. I haven't got an email back from Lenore yet.
They're gonna buy it.
But, okay, so, and we can fill out the paperwork and assign the deed directly to the school, so we're not even involved with
They're
it.
paying all the legal fees.
Yeah.
So it's off the books and now it's blighted property.
Well done, Rob.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna pay, we have to pay the 3,290 up front, and then the school reimburses us, so if somebody can make a motion, maybe that we do that. Because we have to pay the
Oh,
county.
yeah, we have to pay the county.
And then the school will reimburse
When
us
the tax comes up.
when the sale goes through.
Sale goes through, yep. 14, public comment.
Thank you for putting through the Zoom. I think you need to realize that, yes, they can come in here, but they don't want to. They want to from home. And it's a matter of transparency. And you will find that lots of people want to participate. They just don't want to come in here. That's exactly what happened with the county. And really, as far as, it's been a good thing for the county. It has, shall we say, opened the eyes of 9 commissioners who really needed to have their eyes opened. And you never know when that could be the case here too. So it's a good thing.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Wait,
Wait, sir.
Do we need a motion to purchase that property
No.
to have the school sell it?
Yeah,
It's a bunch of money, right?
Yeah, no, because we have to pay for that.
We already made that motion before.
We made the motion to apply interest.
That was a motion to take a look at that.
Yeah.
and find
To
out.
send,
Okay.
send the letter of interest. It would be good to have a motion.
Alright. Give me the total amount.
3,290 and some change.
I'd like to make a motion, to purchase the property on Howard Street for 32, say the number please.
3290
3290
plus a few cents.
plus change. We are I need a second.
Oh, second.
We are spending money, roll call please.
You wanna write that difference, it'll look better in paper?
You have to write an actual amount.
So
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah,
we're
right.
doing, we're buying the property.
With the
On Howard Street
understanding
for
that we
resale
will,
To the school.
To the school.
Do we wanna say that in the motion, don't we, to the second?
yeah,
I mean, yeah, to allow the school to acquire.
do you want me to do a motion that's really beautiful?
Sure, do a beautiful motion.
Okay. I move that the village purchase the tax sale property on Howard Street for the amount of
$2,090.
$90.
And some change.
3291.
Put 3291.
With the understanding that the property will be immediately sold to Central Lake Public Schools
For the same.
for the
amount.
same amount,
Okay.
period. End of motion.
Andrew, don't you have to vote on the first motion?
Mhm.
Don't they have to vote to shoot the first motion down?
No, no, he
Yeah,
wasn't,
if you
he
rescind-
wasn't done
I
yet.
rescinded my motion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
somebody second her motion.
I second it.
Right on.
Alright,
All right, kid.
we're spending money, let's try it again.
All right, I'm still writing it all down because you guys don't like your cards.
We're,
I can write it if you want.
No, that's all right. I'm almost done. It's Chapman,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hines,
Yeah.
Penn,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Tyler.
yes.
All right. Motion carries.
Hey, Rob, I do have one quick thing.
All right.
Since I sat here.
Patiently.
For everyone that participated in the M88 trail survey, thank you. I have received about 500 results back. So that's probably 25%, which is actually pretty outstanding. So I will be at your next council meeting to give you guys the simple version of how the results all came in and the graphs to go along with it. So I'll provide that to you guys for your information. And then the sewer, I've been working with Sam on, and I want to convene the sewer subcommittee to go over those plans in about a month. So I will be sending those of you that are on the sewer subcommittee, which is comprised of Ralph and who else?
Not me.
Rob?
No, Kip and, Mike.
Okay.
You're in sewer.
Okay, so I will be
All right.
reaching out to you guys to get your schedules and also, of course, Sam, to go through the plans, and I'll have some questions and some things that we can go and hash out. So, thank you guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Do we have a motion?
I know to adjourn.
All right, I'll second, all in favor?
Hey.
All right.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
quick question.
See ya. Hold on.
Oh.
Mike's got a
Meeting on the
question.
22nd. What time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. Thank you.
Boy, I need one more out.
I'm not gonna try that.